This is the Solo Coach podcast, where it's all about everything you need to build your business solo. Look, building a business alone can feel almost impossible. There's just so much to get done. That's just your doubt talking. I'm Michelle Sarah, and I'm here to talk you through building a one-woman coaching business from the ground up. I'm talking marketing, time-saving systems, AI shortcuts, client attraction, energy, and belief, all to help you find your way, no matter your age, stage, or starting point. Ready? Let's get going. Let's get something out of the way right now. AI isn't the problem. Doing everything in your business yourself, that is a problem, especially today. I know everyone's using AI, right? And yes, it is becoming a constant presence in our everyday lives for most people. If you're not using AI yet, just stick with me here. But trying to be a coach, a copywriter, a strategist, an editor, a content repurposer, a visibility expert, the sales team, and still having a life, that's just too much. Here's the thing, especially today, we are seeing a rise in more and more one-person companies, one-person businesses that are growing with the assistance of technology, AI included. And that's only going to get more and more prevalent. So that's why I encourage you to stick with me and listen in. No, AI is not going to replace you, and nor is it going to build your business for you. You still have a part in that, despite what you hear out there. It's not going to make you sound bland and boring or like everyone else if you know how to train it. It can give you your time and energy back, and maybe even your sanity back. But let's dig in a little bit deeper. For coaches like us, this makes a massive difference because we are solo coaches or solopreneurs. We are doing pretty much everything ourselves. You may have a VA, an assistant that helps you here and there, but for the most part, all of the hats that I mentioned earlier, they're yours. So why are coaches finally saying yes to AI, and why you might want to too? If you're juggling clients and writing content from scratch every week and still trying to figure out what to post on LinkedIn, you don't need more pressure. Or maybe you don't have clients yet, but you're still trying to get all of this content created. Everything that you know helps to give you and gain you visibility. And in turn, clients, you need some support. If you're like most coaches I work with, you're doing everything yourself. As I said, you're writing content, you're showing up on social, you're sending out emails, you're creating offers, you're delivering sessions. You are doing all of this and trying to maintain some sense of balance. And the reality is, for a lot of coaches, you have these sprints, right? Where you can push and you do all of this over and over again. And then you just start to wear thin and you start to burn out. And then maybe you get this resurgence of energy and you start again and you have another sprint, right? But for the long haul, it isn't sustainable. And for full transparency, I have one tech VA who helps me from time to time. Although a lot of that stuff I either have done myself or still do myself. For where you are right now, and whether you are a brand new coach or you've been at it for 1 to 3 years or even longer, just know that you don't need a team. You can do this. You can do this with the help of AI. So back to my non-human team. There's no way that I could do everything that I do without help. You could keep trying to do it all manually, but here's what I have figured out through a whole lot of trial and error. You don't need a bigger team. You need a better system. And AI is the smartest, simplest system you'll ever use. It doesn't need time off. It doesn't overthink like me. And your vision, that's where you add to AI. It does need direction. And that's why it's so important for you to know how to use AI properly. AI is great, but it can also be very damaging if you're not careful. And here's what I mean by that. If you are just scratching the surface with AI, you are going in and having it write for you without any specific training around writing in your voice, and it is the generic kind of default voice that you get from, say, like ChatGPT or maybe even Claude, then we realize that as an audience, we are more and more and more becoming aware of what that is, what that looks like. We can tell the patterns. You can feel that there's just this sense of something missing. And, when you feed it your tone and your phrases and your way of talking about the work, like your truth tellingness, your clarity findingness, like my Michelleisms, it can sound like you or maybe darn close, right? So it may not be perfect, but it's close enough that it saves you hours and it gives you a starting point and helps you show up more often with less energy drain, and it helps you to be more consistent. Again, the goal here with AI is that it does 80% of the heavy lifting. You're still contributing. You're still the final say. We'll get into that more in a moment. So let's address the fear most coaches have when they're thinking about using AI in their business. But for example, like using AI to write content. So what if it doesn't sound like me? What if everyone knows it's AI written? I don't know how to get it to do what I want. If people know I'm using AI, won't they see me as a fraud? And aren't I cheating? Well, I've had the same feelings, but again, let me tell you what I've learned in this process. I've built my entire business on voice, mine and my clients, and helping coaches like you find yours. So I get the resistance. I mean, I've been a copywriter for over 15 years. Totally valid. It's the last thing any of us want. If you've been at it a while, you don't want to risk damaging what you've already created. If you're brand new, how will you stand out if everyone's using AI and you all sound the same? It's like the same problem, just a different source, right? How do we stand out in our business and not sound like every other coach out there? Well, now we have AI to add to it, right? And that default generic AI voice. So again, how do we stand out and not sound like everybody else at this point? When you take the time to teach AI how you speak, how you think, and how you coach, it becomes a powerful extension of your mind. And it doesn't replace it. It extends and expands your mind. It's like having a second brain. And it doesn't take forever to do. The thing is, you have to start now, and with every single interaction, which I recommend you do daily, even if it's just practicing and brainstorming, you train it more. It only gets better with time. So again, that's why it's so important. If you're not already using AI or at least just experimenting with it, you need to start now. Think of AI as your team member who does 80% of the heavy lifting. And you're still the visionary. You're still the boss. You're still the person who refines and has the final say. Let me share with you 5 ways that I use AI in my coaching business every single week. And no, this isn't theoretical. I use AI every single day in my own business, and it hasn't diluted my voice at all. Here's what it helps me do. I can turn a messy brained up into a first draft. This is a simple use, but it's a really important one because how long have you sat trying to get an idea down onto paper and fleshed out, right? Whether it's an idea for an email or for an article or a video, whatever that is. How long has that taken you? I'll type or voice note a stream of thoughts, half coherent sometimes even ranty, and AI helps me shape it into a blog post, an email, or offer outline. I still edit the heck out of it usually, but the starting from 0 point, that's gone. And at this point too, because I use it so much and it has learned so much, that amount of editing is getting less and less and less. But I still have the final say. Now, I can take a single article that AI has helped me to write, and I can repurpose it into a million different things. Maybe not a million, but it feels like a million different things often. So this is the second way that I use it, is to repurpose everything without doing everything. So a single article becomes a newsletter outline. It becomes a podcast episode. It becomes emails for the week. It becomes a YouTube video script-ish. And I'm not manually rewriting every version. I'm feeding it through my system with AI doing the heavy lifting. Now, the third thing is creating coaching tools and resources. And this is pretty big because this is something, one of the first things that really dawned on me as I began to train as an AI operator, as well as a conversation design architect, which those titles aren't important to you. But my reasons for doing it is because the point that I realized AI isn't going anywhere and how important it is to business growth. One of the things I realized was that all the tools, all the things that I've had in my head that I have wanted to create for clients based on my expertise, I can now create very quickly, very easily.
So creating coaching tools and resources. If you need a workbook, do you need a client assessment? How about an exercise? AI helps me run frameworks I already use and turn them into beautiful client-facing tools like templates. I keep the soul in it, right? That's me. That's my part in it. AI adds the scaffolding. So that helps me to be consistent because, hey, I am only human. I forget things too. I get busy too, that's just the nature of it. So the great thing is my second brain, AI, doesn't have any of those problems. Number 4, brainstorm, offer names, hooks, and email subjects. Again, just really helps me to plug in my frameworks, my strategy, my approach, and then use it over and over again in a split second. So that is invaluable. Number 5, plan my content like a strategist without feeling like a marketer. So I give AI the offer I'm promoting, who I'm talking to, hello, client persona, which is something else we can really use AI for, and the message I want to lead with. Even if it's a month's worth of content, it can all be created with my client personas, my ideal client in mind, which is huge. Number 6, mapping out content plans, right? Creating my marketing calendar. AI helps me think like a strategist. I feed it my offer. Again, it already knows my audience and my goals and can put it all together in seconds. I literally just mapped out 90 days. This isn't a content plan or a marketing plan, but 90 days because I have a massive amount of client projects and marketing and new launches and even training to do in the next 90 days. So I have that mapped out day by day in 2-hour blocks. And so all I have to do is look at my schedule for today and what's on my plate and just go by each block and get it done. It takes a whole lot of mental energy back and a whole lot of stuff out of my brain so that I can actually show up and be that momentum force in my business. So I know I can hear you now. You say it all sounds great, but I'm not a master designer. I don't know all of these things. And doesn't using AI feel like less personal? Well, only if you let it feel less personal, right? Again, you are still the boss. You still have the final say. You should be interjecting your expertise, your knowledge, your wisdom, your style, your voice, your uniqueness, and then fine-tuning it. It does not have to feel impersonal or robotic or bland. It doesn't have to. You can train it to create so much better. Now, you're going to act as the trainer, the final say, the master designer. You just have a second brain now that can work faster than you and learn to be very much like you. As I have dug deeper into using AI, teaching how to work with AI, and more, I've discovered that coaches who struggle with AI usually follow into 2 camps. They're using it, but the out-of-the-box version is kind of that default version I was talking about, and they don't train it, other than maybe saying who their audience is and what their offer is. The other one is that they think it's cheating and therefore use it sparingly. Let me just shed some light on this for you. There are companies like Shopify who are now requiring that every employee use AI in their day-to-day job. We are using AI everywhere, and we know we are using AI everywhere. So let go of any concern or fear that it's cheating and you don't want anyone to know that you're using AI. It's kind of the opposite now, right? It's kind of like, what? You're not using AI? Are you crazy? Right? So let go of that if in fact that is something that is on your mind. As far as using it, the out-of-the-box version, that kind of default version, which is very bland and is easily perceived as AI written and can be damaging to you and your business and your brand, then it's your responsibility to learn how to train AI to be more like you. Whether it is your expertise, your wisdom, your frameworks, the structures you use, the systems you use, the way you write, doesn't matter. It is now your responsibility to train it. So here's what I know. The coaches who learn how to train AI to match their voice and, as I said, bring in their own knowledge and expertise, frameworks, etc., they create more content more consistently without burning out. They're showing up more, they're getting more visibility, and they're getting more clients. They sell more because they're not stuck in what do I say mode, right? They reach more people because they can show up across platforms without adding hours to their week. They're still writing, they're still showing up, and they're still connecting. They just have a super smart and affordable team now. Yeah, a non-human team. So it's you times 10. And using AI doesn't have to be something that dulls your creativity. It actually should be something that enhances your creativity. And that comes through understanding exactly how to use AI, how to train it. Remember, you're in control with AI. 100% believe you're actually freeing up your creativity. This is what has happened for me. You can do all the things you've wanted to do, but didn't have the time or bandwidth, or maybe even the actual know-how. You can learn things through AI's assistance 10 times faster now, if not more. When you use AI right, it helps you to write faster, repurpose smarter, be more visible, and protect your precious mental energy. So you can focus on coaching, creating, and taking that vision that's always been in your head and making it real. If you've been feeling overwhelmed trying to do it all or stuck in visibility paralysis, AI can help. Not by doing all the work for you necessarily, a lot of it though, but also by doing the heavy lifting and working side by side with you. You just have to know how to use it right. Or as I say, use it in a growth-driven way. And honestly, it's no longer a matter of if AI will become a part of your day-to-day. It's a matter of if you'll take charge and leverage it the right way to grow faster. I'm launching something called the Coach Growth Lab in July. We're in 2025. And inside, members will be able to join me for a marketing What's Working for Coaches Now call with Q&A. An AI lab where we will build and learn together, and a co-working session that's strictly for implementation. So you're going to get the training on marketing and unlearning what's working for coaches now. You're going to learn how to use AI, how to train AI, and build live. And you are going to have an opportunity to show up and work together with others who are working on very similar goals, and just have something there to help you get consistent. We are launching this next month. So I'm inviting you, if this is of interest to you at all, if you're just curious to see what it ends up becoming, to join the waitlist. The link is below. What happens when you join the waitlist is if you're on that waitlist before we launch, you get a 50% off discount code that you'll be able to use every single month for as long as you're a member. So go ahead and get on the list, because there's no obligation, but at least you won't miss out on the discount code if you decide that you do want to join.
Hey, thanks so much for joining me for the Solo Coach podcast. It means so much to me that someone out there is listening. Now, if you know it's time to do something different about your business, and you know if it is, consider joining me for my Happy and Successful Business Mastermind, where you can get clarity, support, and a plan. I'll leave details in the notes below. I also want to share a free resource for you. If you haven't already subscribed to my newsletter, Find Coaching Clients, I encourage you to do so. I'll deliver to your inbox tips and strategies that make finding coaching clients for your business much easier. I'll see you next time.